Sawadee Krap, hello and welcome to a Victor Black Quick Tips. This is a bit of a new format for the masterclass. I'm basically going to be creating some faster, snappier content basically. I had some feedback from guys, they like the long form content, the 20, 30-minute type videos, but they did also point out the fact that it does take an investment of one's time to watch these long length videos. Fair call, always interested in feedback. So in addition to that content, I will not be abandoning that. In addition to that content, I'm going to start introducing what I'm going to call quick tips. So we'll kind of short, sharp, snappy, get to the point and bloody get off and let you get on with it. So today's quick tip, basically what we're going to be talking about is magnesium. Now, there are many things that we could talk about magnesium. Again, I could make a 30-minute video. Hell, I could make a 1-hour video about magnesium, but I'm going to talk about just one aspect and therefore dramatically condense the time it takes to present this material. What we're going to talk about is magnesium's role with insulin resistance. Anyone that has watched my metformin videos knows that I'm very bullish on the idea of managing insulin sensitivity, managing insulin resistance, both from a health perspective and from a performance output point of view. I'm a very big believer that one of the most understated, underrated, under-discussed subjects about genetic potential is your toleration of carbohydrates. There is almost, in my opinion, a one-to-one relationship between your capacity to handle carbohydrates, your insulin sensitivity, as it were, and your performance outcomes in terms of physique development. Particularly gifted individuals, and I've worked with a number, the one thing they all have in common, they different ages, different training styles, different religions, and preferences to food. The one thing they all seem to be able to do every time, consistently, is smash carbohydrates. Just put them away, and those carbohydrates tend to get used then for muscle storage, or get pushed up into muscle storage, not into fat. Now, then you have the mere mortals like myself where, I just don't have those genetics and I have to make the most of it. So I'm very interested in anything that we can do artificially then to create advantage in terms of insulin sensitivity, insulin resistance. Now, one of the interesting things about magnesium is that there is a very profound relationship between the two things. Not many people are aware of the fact that when we eat carbohydrates, basically those carbohydrates are broken down into glucose and they serve fundamentally as blood sugar, and that when our blood sugar levels rise, the pancreas produces insulin, which then basically transports the blood sugar into the cells. Okay, so when that happens, a demand is placed on certain minerals, and two of those minerals are basically magnesium and chromium. There are other ones, but these are two minerals which realize fairly significant demand in that regard, in the role of supporting insulin. Now, that doesn't mean that's what magnesium does. In fact, magnesium supports over 300 different enzymes in the bodies. Scientists have basically identified 3,700 plus odd binding sites in the body. So magnesium is one of these minerals, very similar to vitamin D, that is omnipresent in everything we do. It's just, the role it fulfills is profound, and one can, from an extension of that, say, well, if there's 3,700 potential different binding sites in the body, this is one of those minerals that you do not want to have a shortfall on. You do not want to have a deficiency. And perhaps less than ironically, about 25% of people today are even hitting the recommended daily allowance for magnesium, which is 400 to 420 milligrams per day for men, 300 to 320 milligrams for women. And as I said, about 25% of the population are hitting those numbers. However, and this is the point of this video, as high performance athletes, we have in many minerals and many vitamins a greater demand than Joe Citizen. Recommended daily allowance is for Joe Citizen. We're not civilians, we're high performance athletes. So the question must be asked, what do we need? Do we need more? And the answer unequivocally, absolutely is yes. You need more magnesium and you need more chromium to support insulin in terms of the modification of nutritional practices that you practice as a performance athlete. You're eating so much more carbohydrates, at least you should be, than Joe Citizen, that you need to have then the supporting minerals, right, that have a function in that role in equal value to basically the additional demand. What is that? My recommendation for enhanced men for magnesium is basically 800 to 1,000 milligrams a day, basically double the recommended daily allowance. So 800 to 1,000 milligrams a day. So what I would like you guys to do is I want you to go and check out your chronometer, scroll down to where it basically says magnesium, and have a look at how you're doing against recommended daily allowance firstly. And then the next thing I want you to do is basically go into the chromium settings, and you can manually set the allowances you want to set for each of these minerals. You don't need to basically abide by the RDA. And I want you to make that adjustment. I want you to basically say, okay, so I need 800 to 1,000 milligrams per day, and that's your target basically for magnesium. So short, sharp, sweet today. 1,000 things we could talk about magnesium. Very interesting mineral. I will definitely make more content on magnesium, but I wanted to talk about this in this new kind of condensed format. So recommend daily allowance. Make sure you're hitting that. Most people aren't, but as performance enhancement athletes with our nutritional practices, the demand on magnesium and chromium in their role of supporting insulin is significantly higher than it is for Joe Citizen. We need to make sure that basically we support that. 800 to 1,000 milligrams a day. That's it for today's video. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to ask. And I look forward to seeing you at the next Victor Black Masterclass video. Sawadee Cup.